Hello, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday. I'm Terry Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer. And every Monday and Friday, I chat with y'all. On Fridays, I do an Ask Me Anything that can go up to 3 hours long. Yeah, really? And with the fact that Disneyland is opening on April 30th, I may just have to shrink it down because many of you are going to start to make those Disney plans and won't be sitting at home listening to me. So, but until then, I'm here for you. And if you're joining us live, welcome. If you're the first time, welcome. And if you're listening later, please do me a favor and comment and let me know how you're doing, what you think. Yesterday, I did an appearance for the Disney and a Fan Club National Group. A lot of people from all over the United States joined me to hear what I had to say about being an Imagineer, about doing dinosaurs and various crazy stories that I tell about here most of the time. And they said that they had listened to the broadcast and said 3 hours goes by like 20 minutes. I think they were being nice, but I'm grateful. Thank you very much. I also want to thank you for having my back and allowing me to take the day off on Friday, March 19th. Because my husband had that day off and it was really, really nice to be able to do something with him. He is considered high risk. So we have to be very, very careful. And we do not go out on the weekends because people get crazy during the weekend and don't understand what 6 feet is and what a mask is and over the nose and all that stuff that could turn you into someone that you don't like because you get irritated that what is so difficult to manage. And we can't get vaccines, even though he is now on the list to get one because you don't need medical records. They're all being taken up by people who have decided that they're, because you don't need medical records, they just go and pretend that they have high risk. But the problem is that you're taking them away from people who are high risk. And I appreciate it if you, would back off long enough for me, at least to get, for some of us who have high risk family members to get them vaccinated. It's so important. Okay, so you notice that I said, Falcon, Winter Soldier, let's fight. I know, cheesy. I love Kung Fu movies. So this is one of the reasons that I did it this way. I was going to call it Falcon and Winter Soldier, no clue. But my husband pointed out today that I have a clue. And I do. It's about this big. But I thought I'd talk about this today. It dropped on Friday. And my husband, being a Marvelite, like many of you, I bet you did the same thing. He came running in and going, gotta have the TV, gotta stream. And he went right to Disney Plus, which is a little weird because he's not a big Disney Plus person. But when it comes to Marvel stuff, he's right up in the front row. So he fired it up and I watched it and I watched it. And I watched it, and I watched it, and I watched it. It's no WandaVision. And my husband points out, and he's right, WandaVision was very different. WandaVision, I feel, was a hybrid. It invited me into the Marvel world in a way that I could understand and enjoy. And this, although this was the first episode, I don't know how, if I'm going to be able to hang with it. I feel like I do with most Marvel things that I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm not so sure that I care enough to go in. So for those of you who aren't Marvelites, where all of us were raving about WandaVision because we felt like they were kind of like, we're thinking of you too. And we know that the Marvel Universe can't always do that. So it's not judging the Marvel Universe. It's just, quite frankly, saying that I may not be invited to this party. This party may exclude Terry. The first episode, I hung with because I thought it was very interesting, as my husband explained, that Disney is working to pull from the feature films into the series. I didn't want to say television because television is kind of an old term, isn't it? It's pulling from the film where you would be seeing it in a movie theater, like Endgame, to continuing with Falcon and Winter Soldier. Now, I happen to love Bucky, so Bucky held my attention in the first episode, and I will watch the second episode. But I don't know if I'm going to stay because it just may be too much Marvel specific stuff that I'm just not going to be. It's not enough to hold me. Let me say that. It may not be enough to keep me there. Now, you Marvelites, you know, you're there. You're like, and my husband he was, with the popcorn. And it's adorable. I mean, I'll watch him and go, my Star Wars, my Jackie Chan, that's me. Any Jackie Chan film, not any Star Wars film, because lately Disney has really messed up, but Mandalorian, I'm the same. I'm like this, okay? So I get it, and I understand it. And no judgment, Marvelites. It's definitely made for you. It's just, I may have to take a rain check on it. And maybe wait to binge watch it so my husband can explain to me what's going on. Because as you know, as a Marvelite, when it's being unfolded to you, you don't really want to explain to someone who's not getting it at all what it's about. You want to watch what you want to see it unfold. And it's neat. I'm not going to share any spoilers here. I probably couldn't if I wanted to. It's mainly because it just dropped. And for those of you who are curious, go ahead and check it out on Disney Plus, because you may find that you're different. And if you are, please post in the comments and help me. I'd love to sit next to my husband. I really enjoyed that during WandaVision. I really loved being able to sit with him and enjoy it for different reasons than he did. But this one, I don't know if that's going to happen. I will say that I love the fact that the Falcon is more of a guy. He hasn't taken a super juice, or he's not extraordinary powers, not an alien, not he's military, as I understand it. Correct me if I'm wrong. And he's got this amazing winged backpack, which I absolutely love. I would love to have one. I would actually like to make one, but it wouldn't really fly, would it? But the idea of being able to have wings that think about them opening, and there you are looking really grand with your big wings, is just something I've always wanted to do. I think that's one of the reasons I love being Christian, because I'm going to pass away and get my wings in heaven. And I'm so excited about getting wings. I'm looking forward to that. I love wings. I drew Pegasus as a kid. I drew lots of winged horses. Couldn't just be a horse, had to be a Pegasus because of the wings, okay? Dragons, winged dragons, always. My dragons are always with wings. So it's kind of a funny thing that wings are an obsession with me. And I just love them. I just think it's amazing. I love to watch, I think. And so the Falcon, just the idea of someone who has this amazing piece of equipment that allows him not only to have these wings, but they change into a shield. It's a very cool backpack. I want one, terribly want one. I wish they'd make a toy that kind of worked close to that. I would attempt to have it, So I'm not saying there's nothing I can't fall in love with this new series that has just dropped, but I will tell you, I'm hard pressed. It's a lot of stuff that my poor husband has to explain to me. Now, there was some things he didn't have to explain to me. He tried to explain it to me, and you know how we are if we're not Marvelites. We're like the cliff notes. Don't give me the whole sandwich. Cliff. Brief. Don't need the whole history. And I turned and said, this looks like it happened after Endgames. And he said, yes. That's all I need is yes. But as Marvelites, you want to be of service, so you want to explain the whole reasoning and the whole background based on what you have experienced so far. And we know it's Disney, so everything you explained could go poof, because Disney has decided to maybe put their spin on it like they do on everything The Little Mermaid lives. So that is kind of interesting, because as Marvelites, the pattern, how things work. And then Disney goes and does their version, and you're kind of like, I don't remember that in the comic book, which is interesting, but that's Disney for you. They're going to put their spin on it. It's now their property. So that's why I posted it today. All Falcon, all Winter Soldier, let's fight, because that's what I saw in the first episode, is a lot of fighting. And that's what it made me say, let's fight. So that's what it looked like to me. Was there something else I wanted to share with you? Oh, yes. The Dinosaur Giveaway will happen at the end of the month. Please get your stories in if you want some of the dinosaur swag that I have. And what I showed you before is not necessarily what I will have. I'm finding more and more items. So I'd rather give it to you than put it on eBay. So, and it is from the 90s when I did the show. For those of you who don't know, I played Team Baby Sinclair. And because I'm a part of Team Baby Sinclair, let me just get back to my stuff here, and I will quickly show you. I'm going into my photos. I think photos is the best place to check this out. Oh, I see. For a minute there, I was like, why aren't my photos showing up? Here we go. Here I am with Team Baby, just for your FYI. That's me with the wild hair that goes whoosh, whoosh. I was Baby's arms. Kevin Clash was Baby, the voice and the head and body. And then John, who's right there over Kevin's shoulder, was eyes and brows. And we are known as Team Baby with puppeteers. A lot of times a puppet is a team effort. You may be saying Kermit the Frog wasn't. That was Jim Henson, but that was pretty much very close. Kermit is very close to a sock puppet one, and then he had the rod hand, so he could do it all by himself. But in the case of Fozzie Bear, there's an assistant involved. In the case of Bunsen Honeydew, there's assistant involved, the live hands, all of that. So a lot of times a puppeteer is another word for team. But I'm giving away some stuff that I collected when I did the show in the 90s. It's pristine. It's beautiful, from buttons to magazines to possibly I may have like a T-shirt. I'm not sure, but all of that is I'll show you before I do it. But all you have to do is write to me. And you email me. Let me give you my email. Here's my email. Just email me right here and tell me your story. Tell me why you like dinosaurs. And I'll put you in. I'm going to choose some really cool stories to give the swag to. Right now, there's just a few stories. So you have a real good opportunity to be a part of this. So I encourage you to do so. Okay. And finally, my last plug of the day is to go to my Patreon page if you want to be a part of Terry's tribe. I would love to have your voice to the mix. This is where many people who have a passion, and being an artist is mainly being passionate about something that you like to do, be it numbers, be it cleaning, be it plants, be it anything, baking a cake, whatever your palette is. And in the case of my husband, guys, he's found a new passion, a new palette, a new way to paint, and it's coffee. Coffee has always been my husband's passion, and now he is on the road to the ultimate espresso experience, and this is his passion. He's becoming an artist about it. He's getting the tools together, and he's really enveloping himself in something that has nothing to do with production. He is a award-winning, that would be Emmy award-winning cameraman, producer. He's just across the board very, very talented in that aspect. But that's his work. And so sometimes, as I mentioned on my Patreon page today, it's especially during the pandemic, which I know we're coming out of, hopefully sooner than later. But a lot of times it's nice to do something that has nothing to do with your career path, something that's completely new, different, and nowhere on the book is like it. And for my husband, it's coffee. And I just love watching him light up because he's doing this coffee stuff. It's just been a real joy for me because he's worked very hard to find something that doesn't have anything to do with video. And I'm his other favorite hobby, but this setup that you see here that I do, the camera changes and showing you various things, is because he has designed a system for me, assembled a system for me that actually works easy enough for me to go between cameras effortlessly for my little brain so that you guys have a little more interesting videos and you can see pictures like this with me as with Team Baby. So I'm painting. I've never painted before. It's quite exciting. And when I'm done, I will show you. I will be happy to show you what it looks like. But know that it's really a new experience. So I highly encourage you to do something new that has nothing to do with your career. Even if it's reading a book, you wanted to read a book and you haven't been able to because life has been crazy. Map some time in your calendar. Just put it in your calendar that you're going to give yourself an hour or so to have a nice cup of tea or coffee or something, curl up under a nice little throw that you love with maybe your fur baby on your lap and read a book. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Maybe it's enjoying some Disney Plus or another channel that really excites you. You know, me, I'm finding that YouTube is just full of wonderful trainings. And not only do I love to watch YouTube for YouTube to learn stuff, but to watch people and how they shoot their videos so I can do it better. So there you go. Let's jump over to you guys now. Again, if you want to be a part of Patreon, please go over there for $5 a month. Yes, it's a membership site. You get your own personal lives Mondays and Fridays before I come out to the public, and also a Zoom call. We do a Zoom call, and the Zoom calls are amazing. We moved it to 11 a.m. and I'm pretty sure we're going to keep it there because it allows people from Europe to join us. It doesn't hit them in the middle of their day. So they prepare a little dinner and we prepare a little breakfast and we sit there having a coffee or a pastry or whatever you're thinking of, and sit and eat and share. Sometimes I'm cooking oatmeal for my husband, depending on his wake up schedule or whatever. It's a lot of fun. So $5 a month. And that just keeps me able to produce more and more and to keep doing these lives and so on and so forth. So there you go. Let's go to your comments. I also am going to say that as we get closer and closer, like I said before, to Disneyland, we might be able to shorten the Ask Me Anythings because you guys will be out in a boat doing stuff, which I would love to hear that you get to be out, that we all get to be out once we have our herd immunity and we're all vaccinated and stuff like that. So super cool, super exciting. And yeah, cool, very cool. Okay, so let's see what you all have to say. And because I do think, good morning, everyone. I thought I'd go to this early because a lot of times you guys have posted questions or you just have things to say, and I just want to hear what you have to say. Again, let me thank you for having my back last Friday because it made for a wonderful, wonderful time with my husband. We actually went to a restaurant and ate inside on a Friday. 8 feet, the tables are 8 feet apart. Everybody was, masked. You do have to be careful because if somebody is being brought in and they don't know how to wear their mask, I made sure that I was facing the door. This is how protective I am of my husband since he's high risk, is I'll face the door. And if someone is coming towards us that has their mask like this, I'll make him put his mask on. Put your mask on. Somebody's coming by who doesn't know how to properly wear a mask. And they won't be 6 feet away because they're coming right by our table. This is not because they're trying to be mean. It's just that we are creatures of habit, and you go inside. This is the way we've always behaved. So it's up to me to just kind of watch his back also. Good morning, Terry. Excited to see you. Need the distraction today, having a wisdom tooth pulled tomorrow morning. Oh, Angie. Well, sweetheart, you should treat yourself. Once you get your wisdom tooth pulled, and there's some things you're going to have to do, maybe rinse your mouth with salt water or protect it to keep it from swelling or whatever, your dentist is going to tell you what to do. Once you're able to have food, you should treat yourself with something special and yummy. So sorry, I was distracted. My exterminator was walking out front, so I was kind of like, oh, who's that walking around my house? He's authorized, so we're okay. But anyway, Angie, treat yourself to something wonderful. I don't know what that would be for you, but you do. So give yourself a reward for taking care of that. Guten Tag. Hello, Tracy. How are you? Great to see you. Good morning again, Michael. Good morning, Bonnie. It's so nice to see you guys, all you guys. I did an appearance with the Disney NF fan club, and many of us were talking about the Splash Mountain ride and what we would do if we were going to change it, what would we do? And it was really a nice conversation. Maybe during the AMA, we can have that discussion, all of us. It's kind of fun to hear what you all think about that, pros and cons, and I will throw my opinion in there. You know I will. Good morning, says Beth. Hope my weekend was awesome. Yeah, thanks to you guys being able to have Friday. And I think I'm going to take a seat now because I got my Friday. We did all of our fun stuff on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday we stayed close to home. So that was great because unfortunately here in California during the weekends people lose their minds, and it's dangerous for us. So we stay home. Yeah. No problem, though. The weather was beautiful. Good morning, Ava. Good morning, Terry and fellow fans. Hello, Bob. Bob Burdine is getting ready to go to a Taste of Disney today. He and his wife have both been vaccinated, and they're out. They're going to be out in a boat and have a good time. I hope they, take pictures and share with us some of their experiences. That will be lots of fun because I'm not going. The beginning was okay, but then it got kind of boring at points. Yeah. Well, Michael, are you a Marvelite? Are you somebody who loves Marvel? So was it boring for you because you're a Marvelite, or are you like me where you were hoping maybe you could still have a little of that juju that you got when you watched WandaVision? That was me. I was hoping that I would be able to do that, but it's for me maybe back to one, and back to one means in terms that you get back to the beginning the way it was. Morning again, Deanna. Love the fact they kept the original actors. So many times Hollywood replaces actors and it's not the same. I agree. I think this is a very good point, Michael, because one of the things I got like super confused with in the beginning, like years ago when I was watching the CW, it's called the CW. I guess that's across the board. It's called the CW. I don't know. Anyway, The Flash. Let's use The Flash, for example. The Flash in film was different from the Flash in the series, and I didn't know why, because I thought the Flash in the series is great. And they have to be because the show is still running. I haven't watched it in 3 years? What season is it in? 10 or something like that? He's much older than when I first saw him as the Flash. He's still going strong. He's still, obviously, they've got an audience. So why wouldn't you use that actor? So Michael, I agree with you here. I don't think I would have liked it at all had they used different actors for the Falcon and for the Winter Soldier, alias Bucky. I love saying Bucky too. I think that's such a great name. But the thing with Disney is what they're trying to do, according to my husband, who is a Marvelite, is this is the idea. They want to make that thread loop you into Disney Plus and then lasso you out into the theater and then loop you in to Disney Plus and lashing you out. This is a really smart marketing campaign because if you want to see the continuation, you got to get into Disney Plus to see it. Now, maybe that's not going to be the case across the board. We don't know what's going to happen with Falcon and Winter Soldier after it drops completely. But I would almost think that that's what you're going to have to do is be a part of Disney Plus in order to see the series. So, and then from the series, you're going to go out into the films. So let's say they show you a film, which my husband knows the whole lineage of the films that are coming out, which I am like, no, don't tell me now, I'm going to forget. So Michael, you may be one of these people as well. But what happens is you're going to go to the movie, aren't you? And then you're going to go, something is amiss here because I watched Endgame and now I'm watching this, and the relationship here is a question mark. So then other people are going to say, well, did you see the series on Disney Plus, blah, blah, blah. And you're going to be compelled to go and watch it, aren't you? So it's kind of a smart little, our plan is working. And honestly, it cuffs me a little bit because I'm going to have to watch this series whether I like it or not, because my husband will take me to the next big screen film. And I will be completely lost, possibly, if I don't know what happened in the series. So it even pulls me in reluctantly. But my point is I may wait and binge watch it, where with WandaVision, I could barely wait for the thing to drop. And then you remember, those of you who have been with me throughout these lives know that you were the ones who told me there was an episode 9 for WandaVision, which was like a birthday present. I was like, my husband was so excited to know that too. So even though he is a Marvelite, he missed that. So I'm with you on that. I wanted to let you know, Leo. Oh, Deanna, I'm so sorry. Leo Holzer, who's the one who forms our questions and is an amazing man. His mom has been sick for a while. And actually, Deanna, he warned me that he might. The doctors were kind of preparing him. And so one of the things I'm very grateful for is yesterday, Leo was able to join us on the Disneyana fan club presentation, which I was very grateful to have him there because he needed that distraction. So my love goes out to Leo. If you want to do something nice for someone else and Leo Holzer, please send him your thoughts and prayers and tell him, share your heart with him today, if you would. That's something you can do. Doesn't cost you anything, just a little bit of your time, which time is the greatest gift you can give. So if you're here and you know him, please send him a nice little I got your back kind of a thing, because you guys had mine and I'm really grateful. So thank you for letting me know, Deanna. I Facebook you a pics of something I sculpted back in school. I was a teen. Oh, I'll look for it, Tracy. Thank you. Did you tag me? I have to say that if you did it yesterday or Saturday, I spent the entire weekend with my husband, so I barely looked at the phone. The only time I got online was to make sure the 2 appearances that I did on Saturday and on Sunday had the links so that I would show up. It's really bad if they're going to do a Zoom call with you and they haven't sent you the link. So I work really hard to make sure I have that link so I can be there. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing if you don't have the link to get on Zoom and they're like, where is our speaker? So yeah. Hello, Tim Gillette. How are you? This was one of the situations that we talked about. Tim Gillette has a weekly Zoom call for his mastermind being a place where people who are looking to improve themselves gather together to learn and to help each other. And it's a great group, and it's a fun group. And you can Google Tim Gillette, which will lead you to Blog and VideoCon, which will lead you to Simple Easy Marketing, which will lead you to some things that if you're interested in doing something like I'm doing and looking like a pro, the foundation of this was Tim Gillette. Okay. Sometimes when you're looking for a mentor, it takes you, what is it? You got to kiss a few frogs before you find a prince. Tim Gillette's my prince. So not my Prince Charming, that's my husband. But when it comes to my business and learning to do better content, that's Tim Gillette. So this guy right here. So Google him or look him up. And I invite you to come. He has virtual trainings that happen once a month. I don't get to always go. Okay. He has them on weekends, and weekends are my busy time. But it's great if you can go and you I think it costs $20 to join, and then you're open for a whole year of content and all kinds of cool stuff. And he's got some great speakers that have all kinds of things that will help you to understand things better. I remember the first time that I met him, there was a guy who was trying very hard. He never really succeeded, but he tried very hard to explain to me Bitcoin, and my eyes crossed and I almost passed out. And he was kind of like, okay, maybe that's too much information for you right now. Those of you who got it, good for you. Apparently you did really well in Bitcoin, and congratulations if you're millionaires now. I wish I could understand some of that stuff, but I didn't. It just went right over my head. So anyway, Tim Gillette is the prince that I found from kissing a lot of frog mentors. He is the mentor. So there you go. Have you ever worked with horror, theater, maze, escape room, knots, etc.? I have not done live horror. This is because a lot of live horror is a lot of roadkill, zombies, and gross stuff. And I'm not about gore. Okay. I like suspense. So if I'm going to do something in the horror genre, it would be suspenseful. So the one live thing that I participated with it a tiny bit is with my friend Lynette. She used to have a haunted corn maze based on suspense. So she didn't have a lot of people in rubber masks going rah! Or blood or any of that sort of stuff. It was something's behind you breathing. That's the kind of stuff I like. Like it's dark and you hear, and you turn around and nobody's there. See, that's scary. Okay. Or Tippy, we know Tippy Hedren is going to go up in the birds to investigate that room. And we know we don't want her to go up there. We are compelled every time we watch that movie to go, Tippy, don't go. I like suspense. So I've always liked it. That is true horror for me. Not a lot of blood and guts. I'm not good with it. Not good with it at all. Not because it's violent or anything. But here's the thing, guys. I'm in the effects business. I'm an actor. I'm a builder. I create cosplay, makeups, costumes, you name it. You know, I've done illusions. I've created and designed attractions. I've been in lots of films doing all this kind of stuff. And so it never looks real to me. Unless I go to something like Steve Johnson, who's really well known for his work. Screaming Mad George used to really blow me away. He did a lot of the Freddy movies, the Freddy Krueger movies. Their work is fantastic. Rick Baker does some fantastic stuff too. Of course he does. He's Rick Baker. But my point is this, because I'm in the company of people like that, I don't like booze. I don't like people to do the cat in the trash can bit with me. So horror is something that I'm kind of. Meanwhile, I'll build your effects. You know, if you have something that you need to create, a costume you need to create, I'm more than happy to do that, because no judgment. A lot of people love this kind of scary stuff. So I've done costumes for people and created things like that for people, puppets, creepy character puppets. Yeah. I've done some really, strange things for people. So indeed. But most of the time, if I'm doing a costume or something, I'm more like my mermaid tail here, which I built. And then Screaming Mad George, who I said does a lot of gore effects and stuff, he had me in a contest because he wanted more beautiful stuff during the makeup contest back in the day. It's been a while. But he called me and said, would you enter? Because I want some beautiful stuff. I don't want it all to be all about roadkill. So even a makeup artist who's doing a lot of roadkill, because that seems to be what sells, doesn't necessarily love doing roadkill all the time. So a lot of horror today is a lot of blood spurts and stuff. I will say that Get Out, the movie Get Out, was very suspenseful. That's the kind of stuff that I like, that really creepy stuff. I was a little uncomfortable with Get Out because it's about hypnosis. And I think hypnotherapists have a hard enough time, getting people to allow them to help them with hypnotherapy, that to have a movie like that puts, you're concerned. I'm not saying you are, but people then are concerned that something might happen that they have no control over. And so that kind of bothered me about that film, but that was really a scary film. That film was just that was really scary. So yes, David, the long-winded version of your short question. Thank you, Angie. Yes, it was wonderful. My husband looked around the restaurant and said, this feels so good. I haven't done it in over a year. You know, we used to spend a lot of time going to downtown in our neighborhood, and we haven't because we can't, you know. So we have to be like, you know, we have to be super careful. We have to, you know, people are relaxing in California, and it'd be great if we had some of the vaccines that y'all have. Texas is completely open. Michael told me that Nevada is going to open April 5th. Denver is pretty open, and I'm wishing that California would be pretty open, because right now people are going and saying they have a medical condition that they don't, because they can't ask for verification of your medical that you're high risk, because it invades your privacy. So people are going in and lying about having a medical condition so they can get the vaccine. Not saying you are, but I'm saying people are, and as a result, I can't get an appointment for my husband who really needs it. So it's happening with me for my husband. It's happening with people that might be even higher, that might also be high risk, like my husband, that can't get it for their family member either. And that's kind of a shame, you know. I'm trying not to get all cranky about it, but I'm getting cranky about it. You can tell. Yeah, Sandy, I missed you all too. You know, it's funny because did you see like on Friday that I popped in for like, what was it, 30 seconds? Like the shortest videos I've ever done in my life. Hi, thank you, bye. You know, that probably won't ever happen again. I really love family-friendly Halloween. I've worked with Knott's Berry Farm for years, have tons of friends over at Disneyland. Yeah, David, those shows are very cool. Disneyland has a very fun one. In fact, I did one of them in October where the Headless Horseman ran through Disneyland. That was a lot of fun. I actually pumpkin sculpted for that one. Let me see if I can find my pumpkins. I got to go to my albums. There we go. Let's see if I can find my pumpkins. Do I have myself sculpting the one at Disney? It does not look like it, but it's a good segue to show you some pumpkins that I've done. So here are some pumpkins that I've done. This is a class you can take. So I was a pumpkin sculptor during one of these events that David's talking about when Disney had their Halloween situation, Mickey and Minnie's Halloween event. Isn't that what it's called, David? And these are just some of the pumpkins that I can teach you how to do and that I've sculpted. This one is a 600 pounder. So that was kind of fun. This is Dragon's Egg. I always light them. So here it is unlit. And then here it is lit. I'm very fond of this. You may have seen other pumpkin sculptors and they don't light them. Well, I light them. So there's the Cheshire Cat. So you can see here I am out at a pumpkin patch that no longer exists because he retired. But here I am teaching. And this one was painted. You may know an artist named Joseph Yakovetic. Joseph said, paint him, see if you like it. I kind of didn't like it. So I went back to the natural glow. This is for my dentist. So it's a bunch of people all, you know, showing their teeth. And it was on the desk of my dentist. I wanted to do that. This is a little one. So there they are. All the ones. Here there's some unlit. And then there's Cheeky. And then I do weird. So gives you a chance to see all the weird and wild and crazy pumpkins that I do. So I do these events. But a lot of times, like you say, David, I'm doing the family-friendly, upbeat part of that event. Tracy says, I just sent it to you beginning of the stream. I private messaged it to you, so it will notify you. Perfect. So once I am finished broadcasting, I will check it out, Tracy. Indeed. I'm more than happy to do that. Bobby Snyder, how are you? How's it going? I have not forgot that you have ordered your ghosts, but the ghosts are coming out 5 a month. What I really need to do, and it's probably not going to happen until April, is I will get with everyone who has ordered the illuminated hitchhiking ghosts, and get your month locked in, okay? Because you guys have been all very, very sweet, and I have not yet locked in that month for your hitchhiking ghosts. So these are the illuminating hitchhiking ghosts I'm speaking of. Because of COVID-19 and the pandemic, the manufacturers that are building these for me can only do 5 a month. That's 5 sets a month. So 5 times 3, you got it, 15 ghosts that light up. You'll notice that these look like specters. So if you've not seen this set of ghosts, these ghosts right here illuminate in a special way designed by me, because I wanted them to appear like ghosts, not just a night light. I didn't want it to be hitchhiking ghost lights up. You've got enough of those. Sometimes the lights look like they're having acid reflux. So I really wanted them to look like specters. And if you haven't seen these before, they're separate. They're lovely. I've got about 10 sets left before they are completely sold out. Yay! But you'll notice, as in Professor Phineas, the one with the cape, you as collectors voted for him to have his cape. And so if you look at his handbag, one of the things I'm very proud, I call this my happy accident, is that you can actually see his leg behind his bag. So you get that ghostly translucency. That's what I was going for. Probably a very good reason it took me 2 years to do it. So if you can adopt a set of these, it's really worth it, because they will only go up in prices. I'm not going to do an illuminated set. It was really hard work, and it continues to be a challenge for me. So I'm not going to be doing it again, but you owning these is a great thing to have if you're a ghost. If you're ghost crazy, if you are Haunted Mansion crazy, this is a very elegant piece of art for your shelf. Now, if you turn out to be somebody, and the main reason I'm talking about this now is Bobby ordered a set, and I want Bobby to know that I have not forgotten that they haven't been delivered to her yet. And I don't think I have a month for you yet, Bobby. So I want to make sure that we get you on the list, and just give me till the end of this month. I've got a lot going on as I work to get the 5 out for March. Also, for those of you who are sitting there thinking to yourself, well, hey, when I was trying to get this done, I also have these Blacklight Ghosts. These are an investment as well. They're a limited edition of 100. And the cool thing about them is they are half the price of the illuminating ones. So if you're someone who wants these in your collection, but the other ones are a little bit adopting them is a little bit out of your range, then you can get the Blacklight Ghosts. And if the Blacklight Ghosts are still something that, you love your, okay. Okay. All right, so what I want to do here is, I'm not reading messages, but I am going to show you something very special that I would like to hear. I'm just pulling it up for you. That's why I'm doing this, because I want you to see this. You may have seen this before. Oops, doggone it. Okay, there we go. All right. You may have seen this before, but just in case you're new to this, I will show you. So now you've seen the Blacklight Ghosts, which are half the adoption fee of the illuminating ghosts. And if you're someone who says, wow, still not in my budget, then maybe this is in your budget. And this is the Hitchhiking Ghost pin based on my art. So if we flip over, you can see there's the pin, and then the pin glows in the dark. And it is $20. It's $20, and you'll really, really like it. It's a big pin. It's about the size of my lens here. So you see it's a big pin, and it has my name embossed on the back, and then I sign it underneath when I send it to you. So I've worked very, very hard to have something for everybody, because I know Haunted Mansion is a lot like Tinkerbell. A ton of you love it. So I don't want you to feel left out, which is why we've got the pin at $20. It's an open edition, which means you can order as many as you want. And it's not limited. And when they run out, we will do more because we know how popular this pin is. It's already just flying. So that's good. That's good. And then we have the Blacklight Ghosts, which are limited edition of 100. And we have quite a few sets of those left because I haven't really been marketing that. And then finally, the Illuminating Ghosts. So Bobby, this is all about you right now. Just wanted you to know that I'm thinking about you and your ghosts will be coming. We'll talk later. That's wonderful. And I hope Leo gets to watch this later and see your well wishes. So feel free to post here that you're thinking of him and your heart goes out to him and that we love you, Leo. We know this is not an easy time. So we're thinking about you and we love you, my friend. My job will be doing a vaccine clinic. So hopefully I can get mine mid-April. This is the best news ever, isn't it, Angie? To have a clinic so you don't even have to worry about it. You're on the list. And that's kind of the good news about May or maybe even April. Soon, everyone will be able to get one, which means pharmacies, markets, and everywhere that's authorized to give them will open up and you can get them anywhere. And pretty soon it will be like the COVID testing was. A little difficult at the beginning, but burst open and now you can go anywhere at just about any time and get a test if you want it. So we're staying positive. It just means my husband has to be a lot more careful when he goes into his office. I ask him to wipe everything down as if people have completely forgotten, just so he stays safe. And I do the same. So a little more work on our part, but when it's for someone else, it's easy to do, don't you think? Headed to work. Meeting, tisk for work, getting in the way of fun. Bonnie, we're here for you. So we'll watch later on, but so nice to see you for the moment. Missed everyone. Bonnie, have a good day at work. Be safe. If you have to drive to work, watch out for the crazy drivers because a lot of people seem to not know how to use a blinker and they seem to cross lanes without any or speed or everything. So just be really careful when you go out there. We send our love to you and have a good day at work. I hope both of you and your husband are able to get your vaccine soon. I have diabetes, which made me eligible. I'm getting my second shot this Sunday. Joseph, yay for you. I am so happy for you. Yes. My husband is also diabetic, but also has a heart condition. So he's a double whammy, which is one of the reasons I was sad when I went on the websites looking all over to see if there was one place that could give him a vaccine or give him an appointment, and everything is locked up till May so far. But they say it opens up daily. I just got to find out what time during the day is a good time to get in there and maybe get him a vaccine. But I keep looking. I don't give up. You know, I got that niche grinder, which was a real challenging thing to do, but I did it. So if I can do that, I'm sure I'm going to find it for him at least. That's the goal. That's the mission. That's the mission. We will find a vaccine for my husband so that I can rest a little easier. Not by much, but a little bit. Anyway. So congratulations, Joseph. I'm glad you're on your way. Just saw your YouTube commercial for Walt's hometown. If you need help with that in September, I have vacation time. Love to help. Thank you, Michael. Reach out to them. They actually contacted me. I have no idea. They're going, first of all, they're praying that it happens when it happens, right? And then they are hoping, it's called TuneFest, which we didn't get to do last year. They actually, of course, you saw by that video that I posted, and you can see it on YouTube if you want to learn a little bit more. But TuneFest, I've never been to Marceline. I'm very excited to go. It's Walt's hometown. And they actually took original Atopia cars there. They have a little track there. They have a particular kind of dessert there that they have been telling me about that I'm so excited to try. I'm excited to meet the townsfolk of Marceline. Many people live there because they love it there. It's a small town. I'm super excited to go. I'm also, as you know, if you saw it, I'm going to be there with Mindy, who wrote the Tinkerbell book. I'm very excited about that. And Joseph Yakovetic. So Joseph Yakovetic has been a friend of mine, and he's been in Florida. So going to see him was like, meh, couldn't get to do that. So I'm really excited about seeing them both at the event and being a part of that. So if you want to help, just reach out to them at Marshall Lane and see what they say. I'm sure they could use it. I personally am appreciative of volunteers. Quickest meeting ever. Hope that means today will be a good Monday. Yes, Bonnie. I hope so. I hope so. I love those. Never mind. Meetings. That is great. So glad to have you back. Angie says, it does feel like so many think the pandemic is over. Let's just hold on. Don't get sick right before you can get the shot. Exactly. And it's normal for humans to relax. But you have got to stay on it. That's all. So anyway, but lots of fun stuff happening. Lots of cool, exciting, fun stuff happening. You have to keep trying for appointments all times of the day. There's no rhyme or reason to it, says Joseph. I was trying daily for 3 weeks before I found something. Don't believe if the site says no availability, just keep trying. Okay, I will do that. Thank you, Joseph, for giving me that tip, because that is exactly right. I tried, I think it was my husband was doing coffee stuff on Friday because he got his niche grinder, which he was so excited about. So he was creating concoctions, and then he's very frugal. I don't know if this is you, but me as an artist, when I'm starting something, I believe that you need to have the proper tools in order to understand as a beginner whether it's you or the tools. For example, clays. If you use a clay like the polymer clays, better known as Sculpey, Sculpey 3, Super Sculpey, Sculpey, and you do that for your first clay in sculpting for your first time, Sculpey will make you feel like you're an idiot. You'll feel like you have no talent, no ability to sculpt whatsoever. Sculpey is a very challenging material to work in. So as a sculptor, I'm warning you, don't start with Sculpey. Don't start with super Sculpey. I know it sounds cool that you can bake it, but it's, as my friend said, it's like sculpting chewing gum. Some of you may do well, but most of you will look at it and go, I just don't have this ability. I must not be a good sculptor. And I don't want you to have that thought in your head at all. So what I highly recommend is called Wed Clay, W-E-D, stands for Walter Elias Disney. No, really, it does. No, really, it does. It stands for Walter Elias Disney Wed Clay, designed by Imagineers for Imagineers. And it's a wonderful water clay. Means that if you're sculpting in it, you're going to have to wet down a towel, dampen a towel, wrap it up, and put your piece in plastic because it will dry out and crack. But it's wonderful for a beginning clay. In fact, whenever I'm teaching sculpting classes, I do that clay. It's becoming a little more challenging to find because it looks like the place that used to sell it in abundance has closed, which just broke my heart. I love this clay. I hope they don't stop producing it. I don't know what I'm going to do if they do, because I love it. It has more of a component in it that allows you to play with it longer as a beginner, to explore through it, called silt. Silt content makes the clay more creamy. The more silt you have, the more creamy it has, the more water retention it retains. It doesn't dry out as quickly. If you use a classic white clay, like the kind you can get at a craft store, Michael's or whatever, it's going to dry out quicker, and sometimes it just doesn't work like wet clay. I'm telling you, it doesn't. I may have to resort to something like the white clay if the wet clay is no longer easy to find, but I'm going to keep saying it's going to be easy to find because I love it. Later on, as you progress and you get to learn your process by playing in the water wet clay, a lot of reasons this is good is because it uses water to smooth it. Okay, as opposed to oil clays where you're going to need a solvent of some sort. I usually use alcohol, 98% alcohol. That breaks it down and you can polish it and stuff. Oh, I'll be showing you this at some point on my Patreon page. But anyway, this clay is great because it softens with water. It works beautifully. You can actually create some really awesome things from it. It's what I did the portrait of Bill Gates in for Bill Gates. I did his head and I sculpted his head. And the reason I did it is because it works fast, it works efficiently, and then it's very easy to take a mold of if you need to because it's water-based. So you don't have to worry about adhesion to your mold stuff. Am I telling you too much? Yeah, sorry about that. Am I starting to sound like a Marvelite in Marvel? Because sculpting is my jam. Yeah, I love to sculpt. So let me just show you a couple of pieces. One of my favorite clays to work in, once you're past being a beginner, if you want to work in an oil clay, one of my favorite oil clays is Chavant. And Chavant has a million different types of clays. So you can check them out. But here are some pieces that I did that the ghosts I did were in Chavant. So I start by roughing the figure out like this. You can see the two figures for the hitchhiking ghosts are roughed out and then they're fine-tuned. Here he is finished. Now you'll notice that you can get a really nice texture on these. These are, you saw how small they are or big they are. They're about Ezra, he's about what, 6 inches, 6 inches tall, 6.5, something like that. But I put a bead in his eye, just a little bead, because it's perfectly circular and that little dot really worked for his eyeball. So I will do that a lot. You'll also see if we jump over to Gus that I used another dowel. I used another bead, a wooden bead, for his ball and actually used a chain for his chain. So, and one of the things about Gus is that I wanted to let him put that heavy ball down. I thought Gus had been carrying it enough as a ghost. So in my design, I let him put it down. So there you go. There he is. He actually looks quite content, doesn't he? This is Chavant. It really works well. It's an oil clay, which means you don't have to wrap it up and make it all wonderful. But there's some of the, it's one of my favorite clays. Oh, that's the front of the box. So anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of what the clays look like and how I work in that. But at some point I will show you some of those things. Then I work in wax. That a lot of times my clays are merely a leaping point to work in wax, which is my absolute favorite material to work in. I learned how to do that at Mattel. And my wax pieces, I will show you my Starling watch box. This is a piece I did for one of my clients. It's pretty fun and impressive. So you'll see that the tool that you see here in my hand is a wax tool. It's amazing, but it's a very nice tool. A lot of waxing tools, sculpting tools have 2 points coming together. Let me do this in front. It looks like this, but then this side of the tool can burn if you're trying to get into small areas. So that's why I like this one, because it has a single. You see how it has the single? And here I am adding bits of wax. So what are you looking at here? I will be happy to show you. What are you looking at here? What you're looking at is a watch box that I created for Starling watches. And you might own one of these watches. And if you're really fortunate, you own it in the custom boxes that we made. And I will walk you through this process just for fun. So the first thing I did was my client wrote a book about time travel. And you'll see the little illustration, the little black and white drawing, which has blue paper underneath it. And then this panel that's pink is my wax panel. And what I did was transfer the drawing to the wax panel so that I have something to go by. And then over here is another sketch. This is the villain. one of my favorite characters in his book. And I am starting to use the wax to create what I am designing called the bas relief. This is the very beginning of the bas reliefs, and here I'm adding wax. You'll also notice that in some areas I've carved away. So it's additive and subtractive. It takes a lot of skill to do this, but if you practice, it's like anything else, you can get it done. Here I am working on it some more. Just a different angle. And over on the side, you'll notice that I have a picture of a guy in a bowler, a human person, in black and white, so that as I sculpt the character that was designed, that I sketched up and did for my client, that I have like a good reference. Here is one of the watches, and this is the beginning of the box. The box was a trapezoid, and this is 1950s wallpaper. So the time traveler comes from the 50s, and this is all hand done. I did this with not with a wax tool, but with a carving tool. And that's the beginning of that box. What I will do is look to see if I can, I don't know why it's not in here, but I will see if I can find the actual box finished so you can see how it looks. Hopefully I have it in here. You know, you do so many things that you say to yourself, wow, you know, look at all that I've done. I'm a crazy girl. Here is another picture. I'm not seeing the final of it, so I'll have to dig it out. It might be under commissions, but I will show you for now. I will show you what the finished panel looks like. So there's the finished panel of Hinky. And so here we have me sculpting it, starting it right there, right? And then here it is all done, that panel. So that's the bas relief. So you see the fellow in the background, he has a box. It's actually containing the watch as per the story. And then Hinky is a scientist who is after getting all the watches. And this is a machine that he's built. It's a really fun little book. This is the set of the watches. These watches have all these different colors and my client. And then up here, I forgot that was in his poster. Up here are the boxes. So as you can see, each box fits together. There's 6 watches. Each watch is something different. So it's so incredible. I mean, these watches were fun. They're pocket watches. People bought them like crazy. They sold out pretty quickly. And then if you were super fast, you got these books. So at the top is the Starling watch logo. And then the front talks about each watch. So it's very, very cool. The cool thing about my client was that he was one of the people that helped created the Apple stuff. So like the iPads and all of that. So his creativity ended up being bits and bots, dash, 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 circle, 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 circle. It was never anything he could tangibly hold. I mean, you can hold your smartphone, but so many people were involved in the creation of the smartphone that, you know, you can say I had a part in this, but it's really interesting when you actually have a tangible sculpted thing that you worked alongside of a sculptor to create. So that's what I do is I do private commissions for people. And in this case, we did this watch box project. And the first time my client Frank got to hold the box, I couldn't get it out of his hands because it was a tangible, holdable, feelable thing that he had done the journey with me as the sculptor. So we started with those sketches. He gave me the book. He gave me the chapters. I read the chapters. He then told me the story, because part of the thing about working with you is I love hearing you tell me the story of your favorite character. So let's say you wanted me to do a character for just you, very special personal character for just you, because it was important for you to have this because you felt like maybe it was a bit amiss. Maybe they didn't, maybe your thing is so specific that you wanted it to suit you. But in the case of this piece right here, pardon me, which is Mickey and Minnie in Love. Okay, this was a cake topper. This was done for a woman who wanted Mickey and Minnie in Love. So she sat with me. On the pandemic, you would be on the phone with me if we still couldn't get together. But she sat with me many times and told me the story of why Mickey and Minnie were so important to her as characters. This is one of the reasons this is so extra special, because it's how can I say this? It's very, very important to learn from you. That's what I'm trying to say. Learn from you about your character. I can't know every character, okay? And Mickey and Minnie are the hardest ones for me because they're not that interesting to me compared to others. I'm a Tigger freak. I love Tigger. Tigger's my favorite character. But that's because as a little kid, I was bouncy, and I'm still bouncy, as you notice. So we go further and further. So here is Mickey and Minnie. So if I do a custom piece for you, it doesn't go out anymore. They're an investment on your part to have one of these made for you and sit next to me side by side as we create your dream art piece. And it can be any size, okay? So we talk about your budget, we talk about what you'd like to have, and then I do them all different sizes because I've done from super teeny, my candlestick, for example, to 40 feet tall. So I know you don't want 40 feet tall, but the point is that that's, as a sculptor, that's what I do for you if you have a private commission you want. Before the pandemic, I actually had someone exploring the opportunity of maybe me creating them a man cave that actually looked like a cave. So I would be redecorating his garage so that when he entered and exited, he was actually entering a cave, and he wanted me to design it. That's a real dream project, isn't it? So that's pretty exciting. But the point of this is you come up with what you like, and then we discuss. So some other things that were custom done is this piece. This is 0 in the dog bed, and it is the size of a 50-cent piece. So a little bit bigger than this quarter, probably between the quarter and my Oswald the Lucky Rabbit pin. So this is kind of big for a 50-cent piece. This is a little small, but 0 is actually that size. And so we talk about it. You tell me your budget, you want it just for you. We can talk about what size will work and stuff like that. If you turn out turns that you love it. But you can see how detailed I can get at how small, because it's this wax material. And yeah, my ability as a sculptor, I'm not going to lie. This is what I love to do. So there you have it. Here's another piece that I designed for someone. This is someone who loves the Haunted Mansion. This is a cufflink, and instead of in the middle, the Haunted Mansion stuff, it's a replica, very small, of the logo, and then it's made into a set of cufflinks. So this set of cufflinks was designed for a bride to give her groom, and he's a Haunted Mansion fan. So this is what I designed. Now, the nice thing about these is that here they are in gold, and they kind of look kind of blobby a little bit. But once you let the oxidization go into the gold and get into those crevices, they're going to look really cool. You can also, we could actually do that for you when we're doing them, but in this case, he wanted them like that. So that's what we ended up doing. So that's the cool thing about some of this commission work. There's also pieces that you may find that you need, that you want done because you just want them done accurately, effectively, and detailed. And they have nothing to do with Disney. So here's a piece like that. This is a painting called In the Arms of the Father. I happen to love this painting because Joseph is holding the baby Jesus. I don't see this enough. It's always, Mary like this, the baby in the little cradle, Joseph like this. But this is such a beautiful painting. It's done during the time of the old masters, so it's not recent. But you can see the pensive look of Joseph, which I just love, as he holds the baby Jesus and allows Mary to rest. I just think it's brilliant. This was brought to me by one of my clients, and the pastor that helped save her marriage, she wanted to have a couple of pieces done so that she could thank him. And here is that process. So here I have done Mary as a sculpted. I did them 1 inch to the foot pretty much. And then here is Joseph done in wax. A lot of friggin' folds. That's what I can tell you. A lot of folds. And you can see that Joseph's, the back of his head is kind of reflected in the mirror, which I didn't really see. I say in the hands of the Father. I think it was the arms of the Father, actually. And here I am sculpting it here for her. And then originally she was going to commission me to do, if we go back to this, she was going to commission me to do these animals. But instead, because I'm very aware of nativities, I did it in a size that she could then purchase donkeys and cows and things like that from another nativity and save a little bank, because these figures were very involved. So the investment was a big investment for them. But the point is that they really made an impact on her pastor when she wanted to do something special for him, right? So it's really what your imagination comes up with. I had a team of 8 people who wanted something special for a Pirates of the Caribbean cruise. So they came up with, do I have the sketch? I don't think I have the sketch here. It's too bad I don't have the sketch, but I'll show you what I mean. Here is the ring I did for them. Everybody wanted to have a ring. It doesn't fit my finger because I've got my wedding ring there. So I didn't want to take it off, and I didn't want to put it on my right hand, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, this is a pirate's dragon. When it started out, it was everybody had all these ideas and they were throwing them together. And when I finally gave them the price, they were like, oh my God, it's too expensive. So I came up with this design. It's a dragon. Everybody, they really like dragons. And you'll see that the dragon has an eye patch. The reason the dragon has an eye patch is because I put rubies for the eyes, and they didn't want to pay the extra $15 for the other ruby. So I came up with this eye patch idea. And my husband thought I was being snarky, and I wasn't, but they loved it. They absolutely loved it. So here is the prototype. This is in silver. And you can see what I mean about oxidization. See how fun it is when it's oxidized like that? But they all chose gold. Here's all the gold ones. They decided to do them in gold. And there they are. There's the set that's finished with with the dragon ring in there. So really, the sky's the limit, guys. Whatever you need, it can be puppets too. It can have nothing to do with jewelry, figurines. It can be anything. And I get good at my painting. Who knows? Maybe it can even be a painting. Boy, am I getting ahead of myself. I'm just learning painting. And I'm loving it. So, I can't say that, you could get one of my early paintings, but I don't know. We'll see, because it's brand new. This is done. This is a mermaid. One of my clients her husband collected mermaids, and he had over 150 mermaids. So I sat with her and said, what is going to make your mermaid different? One of the things is that I made her floating. Doesn't she look like she's floating in the water? I'm very proud of that design. I did this for her. And then it also looks like her. So it is a design of her as the mermaid, the wife as the mermaid. And it's painted in a bronze look, because if I made it in bronze, it would cost quite a bit investment. And she's tiny. She's only about 10 inches tall, I think. But one of the questions I asked her when I was doing it is, A, how about if we make it look like you? She was thrilled. And then B, do you want it to be a classic mermaid where the mermaid is not wearing, is topless. And she said, no, she had grandchildren, so she wanted it to be PG. So what I did was I took the jacket from the plaque that's out in front of Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean, and I put her in that jacket. So she's actually sort of in a jacket that's like that jacket from the Pirates of the Caribbean plaque. And speaking of that, this was for Guillermo del Toro. This is a 1-inch to the foot piece I did for Guillermo that is a recreation of the pirate bed. This one has fabrics. This one has pearls. This one has rubies. This one has it's a miniature piece. It's not necessarily all sculpted. It's a miniaturization piece that he wanted very much. And he actually commissioned me. Here's another angle for y'all. And you can see right there, I think you can see a little bit that it magnifies. It also has the dead parrot, which I placed next to the bed. And then surprisingly enough, Disney moved it to put it next to the bed. I think Guillermo showed it to the people at Disney and they said, hey, that's a good idea. Let's put it by the bed. So I had something to do with that. Isn't that kind of fun? That sometimes your ideas. Here it is closer. You can see it closer. Do I have another one? Yes, here's another side angle. He wanted the skull to look like it was decayed. So that's what we did. And then we did a lot of fabrics. We actually made it just a little miniature. So there it is. And then here we have, let me just get back to where that is. Here we have an aerial view. This is a real beautiful view. So you can see the pearls that are in there. You can see the jewels that are in there. Everything has been hand sculpted by me. And then the fabrics were done by another team. One of the more challenging pieces to make was the magnifying glass, which has a tassel, a pearl handle. I carved the handle that the pirate is holding. And my jeweler made the actual magnifying glass. And let me see if I can show you. And then there's this. Okay, so you see the jacket on this mermaid. You'll see that that's the one that I replicated pretty much. I didn't do the epaulets, but I sort of made that type of jacket for the one for my friend who I made her into the mermaid that she wanted. This plaque is for the back of Guillermo del Toro's bed, pirate bed. The hardest thing was making sure his name was spelled right. The last thing you want is Guillermo del Toro to say, I love it, but my name is spelled wrong. Oh my God, egg on my face. So luckily that didn't happen. But everything you see here is hand sculpted. Took me close to a year to do. Here's a little closer version of that plaque. You'll recognize it if you've been to Pirates of the Caribbean Disneyland. It's done in wax. And to get an idea, there's the wax. Okay, so wax really does replicate well. You can get the teeny tiny details, and it's so wonderful that, it's beautiful. But here I am holding it. So now you can get an idea of the size of it, like 4 by 6, 4 by 5 inches as I hold it to demonstrate it's flippin' tiny. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying is I can easily create anything. Here is one of the pirate hands from Guillermo del Toro's character. One of the cool things about this pirate bed is that it changed. Disney changed it when they put Jack Sparrow in it, and they changed it. They actually rolled the sleeves up on the skeleton. So I was able to do a different piece than when I originally did it for Disneyland in 1998. I actually created a Pirates of the Caribbean piece for Disney, and Disney made 10 of them. I made 10 of them. Disney sold all 10 at the park. For the Pirates of the Caribbean, I think it was the 18-year, I don't know. All I know is that it was a pass holder event and they sold out in a New York minute, which is yay for me. But anyway, this is the size of the hand, so you can see how detailed you can get with wax. You can actually be insane. And there it is next to a dime. And then also here is a quarter. with the little skull that you saw. And I sculpted that. Yeah. Crazy me. Crazy me. I got to get into doing more of that. I'm actually getting ready to do a Jessica Rabbit for my friend Nate, who is on here. He has commissioned me to do a very special Jessica Rabbit. And then here I am with Guillermo introducing the piece to him and how happy he is to get it. So that was just lovely to be able to give it to him and make him really happy. So I have lots of happy clients. And then Guillermo did me a favor. Guillermo had a event that showed a lot of his collection at LACMA, the LA County Museum of Art, and my piece is in there with my name and everything. So I actually have appeared in a museum and I'm not dead. Whoop, 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 whoop. Anyway, kind of cool. It's very cool. He called me. I was doing an appearance in another location. And I was on the East Coast when he was on the West Coast. And he wrote to me to tell me that I had made the cut. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I was there. The show traveled, but Guillermo was too protective of this actual piece. So he would not let it travel in the show. But it was here in LA for a long time. And I'll have to dig it out. I have the program that you got when you went and saw his show. And the program has me listed right next to Ray Harryhausen, which to me, I love Harryhausen. So that was kind of a fun, exciting thing to have my name next to Ray Harryhausen's in the program for Guillermo del Toro's event. It's like a dream, right? You know, if you love people's work, and I'm crazy about Guillermo's work. I'm trying to get him to let me do something else for him. I'd really love to do some of his original art in sculpture because I just think it's so weird and strange and fun. But right now, his focus is on other things, of course. He's such a busy man, as you've noticed. He's producing, he's directing, he's creating. So one day, I hope he'll let me do some of his personal stuff. And maybe what I'll do is maybe grab I have a couple of pages he allowed me to take photos of his journals, and maybe I'll just do a couple of sculptures and show him what my thought process is, and maybe then he'll let me do it. But plenty of stuff for me to do now, including the Rolly Crump chess set, which is getting ever so closer. And then this piece I'm doing for Nate on Jessica Rabbit. So lots for me to do, really. And then to get the ghosts out. By the way, did I say I got to get the ghosts out? They need to get to their adoptive parents. So there you have it. Lots of, So as a creative person, I guess what I'm illustrating for you here is we're doing lots of stuff. We're always creating. We can't help it. And when the pandemic isolated us, it made it worse because we're like, whoa, all this time, what can I create? And we became insane. At least I shouldn't say we, I did. And so there were times I needed to create something that had nothing to do with moving forward. And that meant maybe building a Lego set, maybe I found that the Lego set is fun, but I really wanted to do something different. And my husband got me these paints, these wonderful paints, acrylic paints, and I didn't want them to sit and not get used. So I have dove into painting, and I'm really excited about it. It's an endeavor that is not easy, but then who wants it easy? You want to have that journey. You want to have that struggle, and practice makes perfect. And many of you out there who are painters know what a joy it is to paint. And I've watched you and seen what you've done, and it just delights me. So I want to try it. And I want to dip a toe in there, and a hand, and a brush. It's just so exciting. It's just really exciting. Let's go over to see what else we have here. I think Bonnie said, I received my second dose this coming weekend. I work for a QA lab and go in, so I was eligible sooner. Yay for you, Bonnie. Still being safe, went out. Fingers crossed for you and your husband to be sooner than later. Honestly, Bonnie, my husband and like you saw Joseph give me the advice that I'm just going to have to keep hitting that website until something pops up. The minute I see black, I'm grabbing it. But unfortunately, my husband still is in production. he still works at Comcast Universal doing promo for a lot of the shows that y'all watch. And so I have to work around his schedule. So they're very much needed because everyone has downsized, haven't they? Because of social distancing, many of them have furloughed people, have retired. People have retired. Whatever, they've made some changes so that they can keep people far apart. And this is what's happening with the manufacturing of my ghosts, is that they are at 25% capacity where they are, and so that limits how many ghosts can be produced. And it's a time when I can't, usually what happens with the sculpture that I do is I sculpt it, it's cast, it's molded, it's painted, and then sent to me. These have electronics inside. They have lighting elements and they have an on-off switch and stuff like that. So it's a lot more involved, which makes them, of course, a higher investment when you want to adopt them. But that's the challenge, is all of the people that were working with me at the manufacturing place, and we're all doing them all by hand. Okay, because there's 50 sets. We want to make sure that each one works. It's too small of an addition for it to be like in a conga line, And then those kind of things that are mass manufactured usually are like, come on. So I want them to be very special. So that's why they're that way. But yeah, so I hope sooner than later, but mainly for my husband. I know I will follow suit later. We are doing fine. Thank you, Shelby. It's all good. If you're going to be stuck on a desert island for over a year with someone, it best be the love of your life. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Bob says, what if you went into the lab and took a piece of that clay I saw when broken down? What has to be added to make it what you want? Yeah, you could. Actually, that's a really good idea. The wed clay you're talking about, Bob. And that actually is a really good idea. I do have a portion of it with me. And it's a real good idea because it's a clay. They're still offering it, but it's a lot more expensive. Like Amazon has it. You used to be able to get it for like $10. I'm kind of rounding it up, for 25 pounds. And now it's like little slabs of 7-8 pounds for 25 bucks. So it's a lot more expensive. There's a lot you can do with it though. It is a really wonderful clay, but that is a really good idea to have it analyzed, is I think what you're thinking about. And that could be really cool. Get a clay company to do that. Now, Chavant doesn't work in water clays, but there are companies that do work in water clays that might be really happy to have wed clay on that market, because it really, it's just, after you've worked in wed, you don't want any other water clay. I'm sorry, it's the best. But that's a great suggestion. A great suggestion. Super great. Those cufflinks, thank you. Yeah. I mean, the reason I showed you these things today is because the sky's the limit. And basically you reach out to me, you tell me I have a little bit of a budget. I want something special, something that has to do with me only. And we come to an agreement. Now, this doesn't happen if you're a mega company. And a mega company, there's a lot more involved. So in the case of SpongeBob SquarePants, when I worked for them, it was very challenging because they have what they like, as does Disney. Don't even think that Disney doesn't have things that they are about on model, okay? Big, huge, high restrictions, which is one of the reasons I was employed by them a lot, is because I can nail that. And I'm very proud that I can nail that. I love sculpting Disney art, and will continue to do it until they tell me to stop. Bob said, would it be possible for you to collect people's stories and with their permission, put them together in a book? Yeah, yes. Yes, Bob. Yes, indeed. In fact, I have a book that is now only an ebook because it's sold out, called Tales from Terry, Disney Sculptor's Life, Volume 1. And what I'm doing is reworking it. When I did Volume 1 of that book that talks a little bit about what it took to become Imagineer, I wanted to make sure y'all would read it. I didn't know if anybody would read what I wrote. Honestly, I did not think I was a writer. But someone challenged me and they said, I can write a book in 2 weeks. How about you try it? And I tried it, and I wasn't as good as this guy. It ended up taking me 3 weeks, but I got it done. Having not ever written a book before, have no idea how to do it. I actually got together with a great book company called 48 Hour Books, and that's 48-hour books, and they have templates, and then they assign you a person, and that person can kind of help you figure out, if you've never done a book before, how to do a book, depending on what the book you want to do. They're very, very helpful. Downside is they're back east, so when I wanted the book printed, shipping can almost put you in the hospital because books are heavy, but but if you're in the East Coast, you can actually get over there and pick them up. I think they're in Ohio, so if you live in Ohio, score! But but they're a great company. Now, since 48 Hour Books, there's a lot that are out there. But my point is they helped me write this book. I wrote this book. My friend Sally LaShoff is a really excellent proofreader, and she offered to read the book to make sure I didn't have typos or misstatements or weird stuff happening. Bless her heart for that, because this is me. I didn't want the language to be perfect. I wanted it to sound like me, and my English is not perfect. So she helped. She knows me well enough that she could keep my voice in there. She helped me with my voice, but then there weren't really serious faux pas that only Terry can make. But the point was that this little book sold very well. People loved it. You may own a copy of that book. And many of you came to me and said, hey, we love it so much. Are you going to do the other two? Which I was going to do this year, but right now I'm working on my Star Wars book. I'm working hard to get it out in May, but I don't know if I'll meet the deadline. But I'm trying. I'm giving it my best all. It's just that will it happen? So to your question, sure, could collect people's stories and put it together. But honestly, anyone could do that, couldn't they? You could do that, Bob. You could actually get with people, have their stories based on a theme. It would be good if it was themed. Like right now, for me, what would be nice is maybe Bonnie and I getting together, because Bonnie and I have experienced mixed race situation. I'm mixed race. I'm black and white. So maybe I get people who are mixed with different cultures, and the stories of what their experiences are, as opposed to being a person of color or a person who's not a person of color. It would be a great book, actually. Maybe what you would do is call it, black to white, white to black, mixed color, whatever your title is. And maybe each person tells their story about what it's like to be someone in their skin, whatever that skin is. Maybe it's your choice of your genders, because there's so many different genders now that people are coming out with, saying I'm them, or I am transgender, or I am, all these different ones, that it would be interesting to hear about their experiences. So that's actually a really good idea, Bob. You could theme it to something that resonates with you, and it would be a really good read. I could do it with artists and say, they talk about why they do their art and what it is that's important to them as artists. That could be a really good book too. So it's a great idea. It's an excellent idea. It's a really, really good idea. Question mark, says Bob. Multicolored people. Yeah, just the united colors of, what is it, Benetton? However you say it. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so there are incidences that happen that some people don't even think about. Okay, so I was married once before, because the love of my life fell in love with someone else. I won't get into it, but he's now back with me. Yay! But the point of the matter is I tried to go on with my life, because you don't covet a married man. And I married a guy, light-skinned guy, okay? And when we took the wedding pictures, the black of my family were so dark they were nothing but eyes and teeth, because the photographer balanced it for the white people. So that's what I'm talking about. And if you balance it for the black skin tone, then it looks like they're being visited by a second coming. We all glowed. So you have to be a really good photographer who can get that middle range so everybody comes in looking good. But sometimes if you aren't careful and really evaluate your wedding photographer, or you have a friend do it, they may not be that, they may not have that experience. Okay. So that would be one of the stories. You're talking about that change, that switch, because my dad being black, eyes and teeth, my sister, eyes and teeth, my cousins, eyes and teeth. That's what showed in a regular dark, and then balanced for the white skin. And if you balance for the dark skin, then we're all blown out, burned out. So you've got to be able to be the type of photographer who can balance that so that all colors look proper in a wedding. And sometimes wedding photographers just don't have that experience. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. But a book that talks about stuff like that, it makes it very interesting, because everybody's journey is unique and different unto themselves. And that's what makes life so special and exciting, right? So when I was growing up and I was in college, I think I've mentioned this before, but if you're just tuning in and this is the first time you've ever heard me yammer on, one of the things that used to drive me crazy is if I applied for a grant or a scholarship, there was no other box. And I'm black and white. Very proud to be black and white. Okay. So they would tell me on the application form to choose black or white. So I don't know about you. Which parent do you diss? Which parent do you pretend you don't have? Click white. Is that dissing my dad? Click black. Is that dissing my mom? So I'm so grateful for the other box now, or also the box that says decline to state. If you're someone who would just rather not share that, you have the right not to share it. And back in my day, you weren't given that right. They allowed you not to share it, but then you didn't get the grant money to go to college. You understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of like, so it's nice to see the other box. It's nice to see decline to state. It's nice to see, do you call yourself he, she, they? These are things that nobody cared about when I was growing up. And when it was important to you, they didn't care. It was like, do you want the money or not? Fill it out the way it's supposed to be. So it's not that they were in any way racist. It's the way life was back then. Okay. People thought what they were doing back then was the way to do it. Even if it was wrong, they thought they were in the right. So grain of salt, guys, grain of salt. That's all I'm going to say. In today's world, when I see someone get, mistreat or abusive towards someone because of their color, their choice, their look, their nationality, I think they have been transported from the dark ages. What are you, Neanderthal? I cannot understand why you are still in this antique mindset. This is my thinking. Okay. I just look like you've been teleported from another time. I am just shocked because I feel that we've come so far. And then these kind of things bring you back to say, maybe not, So that's kind of the deal, grain of salt. It's very important to look at the way history treated people, because you won't repeat it, hopefully. And that's one of the reasons I'm not really about certain PC things US wants to do, because I think these reminders are very important for us to be continually reminded about what happened in our past so that we don't do it again in the future. And it's possible we could. I know you think, maybe people think now that they can't, but it's very possible. So yeah, multicolored people. Is that why they call it white balance? Landon, you're quick. You know what's going to happen now, Landon? They're going to say you can't call it white balance anymore because that's racist. Oh no! What will you call it, Landon? Quick! Oh, isn't that a shame? You know, my sister told me a story. She's a photographer. And she does a lot of big photo shoots for, ad agencies and stuff. Not since the pandemic, but she does that. And she says there's a particular, I guess it's an electrical unit called a slave, and they can't say slave anymore, even though that has nothing. Yeah, they have to call it something else. So see, sometimes that gets a little weird to me. That's weird to me, and it was weird to her too. That is all light adjustment. Exactly, Bob. It is. But have you met wedding photographers? Have you looked at, any of you that gotten married ever look for a wedding photographer like that's not your friend? It's just like, and you flip through the book and you want something new and unusual and you see the brandy snifter shot. You know which one I mean? There's a big giant brandy snifter and the couple's inside. How many times have you seen that? Like 50 times, and you're like, really? The brandy snifter? Wow, that's creative. No offense if you're one of those that just loves that brandy snifter shot. I just got so tired of it when I was looking at photographers. I thought I was just gonna, the brandy snifter shot is like, ugh. Yuck. I can think of a few others, but the brandy snifter is what comes up. I think if somebody has that in their portfolio, at least back when I was getting married, you were not in the running with me. It turned out that what happened for us is we did a wedding that was called the elopement package. It involved 6 people, including the wedding couple, and it had the top photographer in Southern California. And it might have been in all of California, and a wonderful minister and a wonderful little winery. And it was all about love and the couple, and I wouldn't change a thing. I loved it so much. If you decide you want to see things like that, like wedding pictures, or learn a little more about the true love marriage that I have, then on the Ask Me Anything, just ask me that question. Okay, I'm happy to share. All my stories are a story within a story. You see that, right? Yeah. Yes, indeed, that is true. What can I say? How can I give you an example of a story within a story? I've got it. Where is it, though? I got to find it so I can illustrate this for you, Bob. But I got to find it here on my table. Story within a story. Is this it? It has to be the real thing, or it's a lie, right? So I don't want to lie to you. I want to show you the true. There it is. There it is. It's this one. Okay. You see this right here? This is my favorite sculpting tool on the planet. You may be looking at it going, it looks like a rod, and I'm going to set it here, and I'm going to show you it better. But this is it. It has this little flat part right here. And it has this little thinner flat part. I love this tool. I love this tool. I love it. It's so special. But to illustrate Bob Roomba's story within a story, here it comes. When I was an Imagineer, back in the day in 1987, when I'm still an Imagineer, but I'm a different type of Imagineer. Let me say that again. When I was an Imagineer working at Imagineering on Flower Street in Glendale, I was in the sculpting department. And it was a different world. It looks now like a college campus, I have to say. It's a different world when I go visit Imagineering than when I was there. When I was there, it was a kind of a sweet, quaint little building with another sweet, quaint little building and a huge parking lot. And I was parking my car after lunch one day when in the street, in the parking area, I found this tool. And I took it to my sculpting station and started to use it and fell in love. So I worked with it, I think, for about 2 months when my supervisor and ultimate sculptor extraordinaire, Valerie Edwards, walked in, saw me using it, and went, "My tool!" And I went, "No!" Just like those commercials. where people are spilling something and they're going, no. Oh, I thought I was going to burst into tears. I got to tell you, it was her tool. I lost it, says she. I love this tool. And I was like, no, please don't take it. Don't take it from me. But it was hers. It belonged to her. And she was so heartbroken when she had lost it. And she said, where did you find it? And I knew it was hers because it's in the parking lot. All of a sudden, it all came clear that she must have dropped it while parking her car and coming to the sculpture place. So reluctantly, I gave it to her. I have to tell you, my eyes were big and sad, just like the sweet little rabbit in Zootopia when she's apologizing to the fox for being so mean. That was me. I was just devastated. There you go, Valerie. It went away and it's gone. But you see, obviously, there is a happy ending to this story because bless Valerie Edwards, she saw how much pain it took for me to give her her tool, and she went to MAPO, which is where all the machinists and designers of the audio animatronic builders were. That MAPO, short for Mary Poppins, and she had it recreated, and then she presented it to me a gift about a week later. And now every time I use this tool and I love on this tool and I hug this tool, I think of my dear friend and supervisor, Imagineer Valerie, the amazing rock star Edwards. So you're right, Bob. Story within a story. That's me. So thank you for opening that little window so that I could tell you that story. Every time I use it, it's special because she had it made for me. I thought that was very, very thoughtful as she saw me just like almost have a breakdown when I was trying to give it to her. I would check white and black. Exactly. I did both. And boy, they sure gave me trouble for it, Deanna. I'm not going to lie. They did. Balance of color. Yeah, balance. I mean, this comes up in these discussions we have, right? Because it's so front of mind lately. You know, it's so front of mind. And it's so sad. You know, you look at some of the things that are happening and you're like, really? What year am I in? This is me talking. I'm shocked. Now, many others might not be shocked, but I'm very, very shocked. So it's just, yeah. So my ex was into photography. We also had our own darkroom. Oh, you had though. You don't do that anymore? I think that's kind of fun. Do darkrooms still require that special red light, which I always felt was very interesting? My sister says digital now is taken over so much you're not really doing that kind of photography anymore with a darkroom. But I've heard other photographers, shout out to my friend Paul Garenti. He is a photographer, and a lot of times I think he still uses a darkroom. He's my sister's close friend. They went to school together, but I also know him, and he married a photographer, so they just are like, pow, double excitement when it comes to photography, and really good. So Deanna, yeah, you got to tell me if you are still, now is he with digital? My sister has all kinds of camera bodies, and when she was shooting, she'd shoot Hasselblad. She would shoot all different kinds of types of pictures, and I would love to see her get back into it. She has such a good eye, such a unique way of looking at things through the lens that I'd love to see her get back into it. My ex in the 80s. Okay, so we won't talk about that too much. Yeah. But I love seeing what photographers come up with. And I was introduced to this site. I'm trying to remember what it was called now. Really a cool site that I can't remember the name of it. but maybe I'll post it in the comments later. That shows it. Just you get to see people and their wonders of photography and how they, see things. I just take pictures. Honestly, I try to be kind of photography, but uh, you know, it's great to see other people and what they do. There's a guy named Jared. He's a wildlife photographer, and he has an organization that you can be a member of. And I'm a member just to see how amazing the students are that take wildlife photography. I try once in a while to do something, but I'm like, oh, wow, you've got to have the patience of Job, and you've got to have a quick camera, and I have taken some interesting pictures though, because I'm fascinated. As a sculptor, you're fascinated with life and death, okay? Because that is the human cycle. So you find yourself looking at things that maybe you wouldn't normally latch onto, but it just catches your eye and you love it. Years ago when I was on Facebook, I connected with a guy called Cadaver Man, and he actually invited me to come into his laboratory and look at cadavers, and I was just amazed. I had to go because I was blown away. It was cool. I probably should show you this picture. So let me just change my feed here and get it so that you can see it on camera. Here is my book, and here I am with Bob Gurr. We actually got together at Disney during the Disneyland's birthday party a few years back. And Bob is mentioned in this book. So he signed some of the copies. And this is my book. Now, I started to tell you about this book. Collectors told me what was wrong with it. So now I'm redoing it because they told me where it needed to be improved, which I love you guys for that. First of all, it's got to be a hardback, you all told me. So I'm working on that. And then second of all, she's like, LOL, my first husband. So cute. So cute. But anyway, he signed it and I signed it, and then people said the yellow jacket was not me, because when am I ever in a jacket of any kind? I'm usually in a sweatshirt, or I've got some long drapey thing, but I'm really wearing a suit. It's just not my thing. So that was that. And then people also said that it needed to be hardback. Those were the two things, but they did say it sounded like me. The book had my voice. So it's just a matter of fine-tuning that one. Also, I can use the word Disney. So I'm going to change the title as well. So those of you who got the early book can say, I knew her when she was trying this experiment, and go from there. So that's pretty neat. That's pretty exciting. So I'm looking to see, the book was a really fun thing to do. If you're thinking of doing a book, do a book, and do it so that you can hold it. Ebooks are nice, but being able to hold and have a book in your hand is the experience never gets old. I'm just kind of trying to see if I have what I was discussing before, and I'm not sure I do. But I'm looking, because maybe I do, but maybe I don't. Anyway, once you do a book, you can do things like this, which is a book signing. Look at all those happy people. Boy, you think I'm popular or something. These are young students. My absolute favorite is meeting kids and young people. Can't wait till I get to go back and speak in front of them again. They are our future. And I love them. I love them. I love telling people that they are worthy. Like, I have to give them permission, but sometimes they want me to give them some sort of little permission. And I'm more than happy to do that. So, I don't know what that word means. Bob, you're going to have to appreciate you, which opens my on ideas further. Yes, exactly. Well, see, this is what happens on my Patreon page. We are in a private group, a private Facebook group, and we brainstorm. And the rule is you don't steal from each other or borrow. You simply help each other with their ideas. And that's one of the reasons that the page is so wonderful. Besides being a great place for us just to chat, talk about anything. We talk about everything. Last week, we talked about food, and we talked about, what else did we talk about, Deanna? It was just so fun to sail through the different things that we found fun and chatting about. It was really cool. I just remember it's really cool. And that's what I love about that page, is that happening. So yes, you are very welcome, Bob, anytime, my friend, and consider the Patreon page because it's really fun. My cousin has written a couple of books. Yes, indeed. Well, see, I love children's books, but I love weird children's books. Okay, I collect really odd children's books, and some of them are a little bit questionable, like the story of Matilda, who told terrible lies and burned to death. Yes, that is a children's book. Why, I have no idea, but I have it and I love it. And it's great. And then there's ones like Tuesdays, which has, the book is called Tuesdays. It has very little words, lots of pictures, and is fabulous. Again, if you want to see it, just remind me during the Ask Me Anything, and I will pull it down so you can see what I mean, even show you Matilda. Then there's one done by a dentist that is so terrifying, and he did it for his own kids. And I have a copy. It's wonderful. It's wonderfully weird and scary. So yeah, so there you go. But so there you have it. Just lots of odd, strange, crazy things that happen on this end with me. And I love sharing them and talking them over with you and stuff like that. And we're going to do this. Look at this one, an hour and 56 minutes. We're going to actually say we're going to sign off. How about that? You guys get more of your Monday. Why am I doing it today? Well, because I want to see if I can keep it to 2 hours. I'm practicing. I promise you, the AMA will probably go longer because I know how important it is to you guys. But today, we're going to end at 2 hours. And the reason we're ending at 2 hours is because I've got to get used to this, because Disneyland is opening in a month. And you guys are going to be leaves on the wind. You're not going to have to sit and listen to all of this. I know you like it. I know you love it. And I do too. But you're going to have your lives start to cook. We're going to have, before you know it, herd immunity. This pandemic is going to be in the back of our minds, and we're going to be doing really well. So I love you guys, and I love the fact that we're in the home stretch. And I love the fact that I have tons of new friends from all of you. And I want to thank you for that. I am so, so, so grateful that that I've gotten to chat with you and meet with you and do things. So remember Friday's AMA. Remember the Patreon page if you want a little more intimate gatherings with all kinds of like-minded people from every color of the rainbow. I like to call it the coat of many colors, a la Dolly Parton, one of my favorite songs ever. So I look forward to seeing you soon. Hugs and kisses. Love you all a bunch. Looks like many of you are saying hugs and loves and bye-bye. Here you go. Just because you're special, I'll post that. In the words of Deanna, hugs and loves. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel so much better. And I'll see you soon. I'll see you Friday. Be real. Have fun. It's during the week. So if you've had your vaccine, party down. Mask, distance, but do yourself a favor and get out. You get to. You're a lot safer than you were before. And I love you.